السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. اللهم لا علم إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم أنزل علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا رحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه الكرام. أما بعد. Alhamdulillah. First of all, I want to say that Sidi Muhammad Sharif, what he spoke about was incredibly important, and I don't think it can be really underestimated, the importance of that topic, because what we are facing now as an ummah, we've never faced in any other time in our history. We're facing the threat of the dissolution of the human soul itself. I had the great fortune very recently of meeting somebody that I would consider one of the great men of our time, Shaykh Abdul Karim Zaidan. I met him in Mecca. We had suhoor together. And he's an Iraqi Shaykh of over 90 years of age, and he's written an encyclopedic work about the fiqh of women, of the ahkam pertaining to women, several volumes. But among the many books he's written, he wrote a book about the sunan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ways in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala works in His creation. Because one of the most extraordinary things about our teaching is that it literally provides us with a blueprint of how existence works. And we are the conscious element within the entire creation that is able to understand creation in a way that no other creature has access to. We are able to prevent harm for ourselves or take ourselves to destruction based on the knowledge that we have been given. And so this sacred knowledge, this most profound knowledge, is something that Allah has bestowed upon us as an amana, as a trust, and it is a weighty trust, of which, according to the Quran, the angels, the mountains themselves, the earth refused, the mountains themselves refused to bear the weight of this amana, this trust, and the human being took it upon himself to bear this amana. And one of the things that this Shaykh that struck me so much is that he came into the room and sat down, and given the age that he is, he obviously walks with some difficulty, and he sat down and he was very quiet. And somebody asked him a question, because there was another Shaykh in the room who had been talking, and somebody asked him a question, and suddenly there poured forth from this man a passion that really struck me, given the age of the man, like a young man speaking with deep sincerity and passion, and it affected everyone in the room. And the gist of what he said is that we as an ummah are collectively facing a crisis that is unparalleled in the history of Islam. There is no other period in our history that is equivalent to the period that we have now. And the greatest reason for that is mass communication. The reason that we are threatened now, unlike any other time, is the power that the kuffar now have in their hands to attack the Muslims in the hearts of their own homes. Everywhere we go in this world, you see all across the Muslim world satellite dishes filling the houses of the Muslims all over the Muslim world. In the poorest of houses, you will see a satellite dish outside of that house. What that satellite dish is absorbing is the filth that is polluting the minds and the hearts of our youth, of our middle-aged, and of our old age, day in and day out, by night and by day. Ramadan has become now a time when people watch television because the best programming, quote unquote, is now given during Ramadan in the Arab world. People are watching television in Ramadan. This is a calamity. Really, we have to realize what is happening to this ummah. The massive impact, the massive power, because it is power. There is a power in the ability to influence the minds of people. We have let the devil into our front rooms, into our bedrooms, and open it up and allow the devil to raise our children, to teach our women, to corrupt their hearts. Really, it's something extraordinary. We have now on the Arabian Peninsula young men, young men, like gangsters from the 1950s. Like gangsters, looking like James Dean and on Marlon Brando on the waterfront with their leather jackets and their baseball hats, like Muhammad Sharif turned backward. Really, going around the Kaaba itself. And then going out and many of them don't even pray. Their parents are in praying and they're out there like they're gangsters on the street, sidewalk. Right? Talking and wasting their lives away, and then meandering down to the Burger King or the Kentucky Fried Chicken just opposite the King Abdulaziz Bab of the Kaaba to eat junk food that nourishes their junk minds that are a result of their junk television programs. And this is what we're creating, a society of junk people. And this is not an exaggeration, and your laughing is a sign of how serious the crisis is. Because like the Arabs say, شَرُّ الْبَلِيَّ يُضْحِكُ, the worst of things makes people laugh. We're in a crisis, and we're all sleeping. Really, we are in a deep sleep, and we have to ask ourselves, what is it going to take? How much do we have to lose of our humanity before we wake up? What is it going to take? How many children have to be sacrificed at the altar of primetime television before we wake up to what's happening to our communities, to our families, to our children, to our masjids, to our societies? How much more? How much can you take? How much can you fill your heart? With how much pollution? If Imam Shafi'i complained about losing some of the ability of his memory because he saw something haram for even a moment and maintained his glance, how much greater that we're filling our hearts with the haram day in and day out. How much greater that we have a crisis, people, and we have to wake up to the crisis and realize the weight that this ummah has.